Well, that would be service to the community.
Service to the community.
Yeah,
So
or professional affiliations or professional services and so
is,
on.
in terms of having like, trying to have like a third of your CV being about service, does there have to be some to the university specifically, or can things like sharing panels and being readers and stuff like that, can that count?
Well,
Will that be
the question, in terms of having, how much, in other words, how much service does counts as service? It's a good question, and I would say it's not a third. As I said, the sort of the mantra around here is 40-40-20. So service counts, I would say, if you wanted me to quantify it, about 1/5, whereas the other two things count for 2/5 to a half each. But in terms of the kinds of service, it depends. How you organize that on your CV really depends on how much you've done. If you have no university experience and all your experience is sort of professionally based, well, that depending on your field might not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I'm sure there are some fields where, you know, a lot of student activism or student government or even departmental work among graduate students isn't looked kindly on, and so you might want to de-emphasize that and emphasize more in more applied fields, for instance, that you've really been involved in the academic outside, that is to say the professional communities, or especially if they're well recognized communities. But it depends. Some people put sharing and things under presentations, and I think that's the really distinction that I want to make there, is that chairing a panel, you haven't produced anything, you've just been involved in the work, and that's the distinction that I'm making here. So I don't know whether that answers your question. It kind of depends.
Okay.
But,